Students, in this video we shall be learning about the various abnormal constituents of urine. So how these abnormal constituents affect the pathological state of the human body and their diagnostic significance. So in this topic we shall be covering about the physical features of the abnormal urine, that is the volume, color and the pH. Then comes the glycosuria, which is the presence of reducing sugars in the normal urine. Proteinuria, it determines the presence of proteins such as albumin. Then comes the ketonuria, which is the presence of ketone bodies such as acetone, acetoacetic acid and beta hydroxybutyric acid. Then comes the hematuria. It shall be covering the presence of blood in the urine. Then comes the presence of bile salts. So normally the bile salts are secreted into the biliary tract, through the biliary tract into the duodenum. So we shall be learning how these bile salts come into the urine. Then comes the bile pigments. So they help in the diagnosis of jaundice. Then the amino acid urea, the presence of various amino acids, how their deficiency may lead to certain diseases and how their presence in the urine indicates certain pathological states. Then comes the presence of hormones, how the presence of hormones is affected in the urine. So now let us start with the abnormal features of urine. First of all, we shall be learning about the physical parameters. So firstly we shall be studying the physical parameters of abnormal urine. So among the physical features, the number one is volume. So normally the volume of urine per day is 1200 to 1500 ml. The normal urine output is it is 1200 to 1500 ml per day. So for the volume we are having two states, one is polyuria and the second one is oligouria. So what is polyuria? Polyuria refers to the increased volume of urine. So this refers to increased volume of urine. It can be caused by a number of factors such as excessive ingestion of fluids, salty and spicy foods, diabetes mellitus, where high concentration of sugar in blood increases the osmotic pressure and impedes the reabsorption of water from the tubules. So a pathological condition associated with this is diabetes mellitus. It may be an indicative parameter for diabetes mellitus. The next one is oliguria. Now oliguria implies the decreased urinary output. So it is the decreased urine output per day. So it can be caused by restricted intake of fluids and other conditions such as diarrhea, vomiting, gastric and intestinal suctions. So it can be an indication for diarrhea, or we can see the decreased urine output in diarrhea, in excessive vomiting. So these can be some indicative parameters for decreased urine output. The next one is the color. How the color helps to identify or how it plays a diagnostic role in interpretation of various pathological conditions. Now I shall be drawing simply the table to show you how the different colors of urine have the different diagnostic interpretations. So now let us start with number one. If the urine is brownish black on exposure to air, if the color of urine changes to brownish black on exposure to air, It indicates presence of alkaptonuria or malignant melanomas. It is an indicator for malignant melanoma. Second one is if the color changes to pinkish brown on standing. If the color of urine changes to pinkish brown, it is an indicative parameter for hemolytic anemia. It is an indicative parameter for hemolytic anemia. Third one is if the color of urine is yellow, it may be an indicative parameter for jaundice or bile pigments. You can simply write here jaundice. So these are the interpretations, the diagnostic interpretations. Now the next comes if the color of urine is red, it is an indicative parameter for hematuria, presence of blood in the urine. It indicates the presence of blood in the urine. Now next, the fifth one, if the urine is milky in color, it indicates chyluria or presence of fats, and pyuria, presence of pus. It can be chyluria due to presence of fats, or pyuria due to presence of pus cells in the urine. Then if the urine is reddish brown, it indicates hemolysis. And if the urine is reddish purple on standing, it changes to red in color, it indicates the antibiotic therapy in TB if the color is reddish purple. It is an indication of antibiotic therapy. So the persons which are given the antibiotic therapy regime for the tuberculosis may be having this coloration in the urine. So this was regarding the color. And another parameter is the pH. So how the pH affects the state, pathological state of the urine. So if the urine is acidic, it may be due to the metabolic acidosis or renal tubular acidosis. So an acidic urine may be due to metabolic acidosis or due to renal tubular acidosis. Secondly, if the urine is alkaline. So if the urine is alkaline, it may be an indicative parameter for metabolic alkalosis or alkali therapy, or if a patient is under any alkali therapy. So the urine pH becomes alkaline. Now next are the presence of reducing sugars, so normally known as glycosuria. So the next one is glycosuria. Now it is of further types. Number one is glucoseuria. Number one is glucoseuria. Now in glucosuria, it indicates the presence of glucose in amounts more than 1 gram per day in the urine. Presence of glucose. So it is an indicator for presence of glucose in more than 1 gram per day. So the concentration is this much. This may be an indication for diabetes. An indication of diabetes. And sometimes this condition is also known as renal glucosuria due to pregnancy also. The next is the pentosuria. The next one is pentosuria. So in the pentosuria, the presence of pentose sugar is there. So it is an indicator for presence of pentose sugars. It may occur in the normal people after ingestion of large amounts of fruits or fruit juices. It may be due to ingestion of large amounts of fruits. It may also occur due to inability of body to metabolize the pentoses. Otherwise, this condition is apparently harmless. So this is an harmless condition. The patient has not to be in a worry if there is a presence of pentose sugar in urine. So next is fructosuria. So in fructosuria, the excretion of fructose is there in urine, which is a rare metabolic defect in liver. So it is excretion of fructose in urine, and it is an indicator for a very rare metabolic defect in liver. The next comes the lactosuria. So in lactosuria, there is an excretion of lactose in the urine, and it is common in case of lactating women but not during pregnancy. So this is excretion or presence of lactose in urine. This is only in case of lactating women. But not in case of pregnancy. Next comes the galactosuria, or it is simply the presence of galactose. So the last one is galactosuria. Or simply the presence of galactose. This is associated with galactosemia, metabolic defect due to deficiency of galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase enzyme. So this is galactose in urine caused by deficiency of an enzyme galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase. Galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase. So due to this, the presence of galactose in urine occurs. So this was all regarding the glycosuria. The next one is the presence of proteins. So how the proteins affect the pathological conditions of urine. So the next one we will be studying is regarding the proteins, regarding the presence of proteins. So in case of proteins, there are conditions associated with that of albumin. So presence of albumin may appear in urine in variety of pathological conditions such as kidney changes due to abnormalities or any primary kidney disorder. So we start learning about the condition known as albuminuria. Albuminuria. So albuminuria is presence of albumin in the urine. So it is majorly of three types. Number one, pre-renal. Number two, renal. And number three, post-renal. So how these conditions are having different diagnostic interpretation we shall be learning now. The pre-renal urine, the pre-renal albuminuria is basically associated with abnormalities in the organs other than urinary tract. So mainly it is indicative with the indirect changes in the kidney, or cardiac diseases may affect this. Various cardiac diseases may lead to pre-renal albuminuria, or the drugs including turpentine, quinine, naphthols, sulfonamides may show the features for pre-renal albuminuria, because these drugs cause irritation in the kidney and result in pre-renal albuminuria. Whereas in case of renal albuminuria, it is a direct indication for glomerulonephritis, condition known as glomerulonephritis. The albumin is constantly present in urine in acute glomerulonephritis. This albuminuria is characterized by massive albumin amounts and hypercholesterolemia, oliguria, and almost invariably edema also. And in case of post-renal albuminuria, these are sometimes known as false albuminuria, and it may be caused by inflammatory degeneration or traumatic lesions in the pelvis of the kidney, ureter, bladder, or prostate or urethra. Bleeding in the genitourinary tract also counts for albuminuria, post-renal. So it is an indication for infections in urinary tract, and along with this, the presence of traumatic lesions may also lead to post-renal albuminuria. So students, this was all regarding the glycosuria and proteinuria. In our next class, we shall be covering the other points such as ketonuria, hematuria, and bile salts. Till then, revise these and understand the concept how the abnormal constituents of urine are having the diagnostic interpretation of various pathological conditions.